Cleveland sports fans know the past. 52 years without a title, but that drought is now history. Your Cleveland Cavaliers are world champions. They returned home to a hero's welcome, met by thousands of fans who spent hours standing on a hot airport runway. And they lined the streets outside LeBron's home. The plain dealer couldn't print papers fast enough. For Northeast Ohio, this is much more than a championship. It's a chance to show the world we are the center of the sports universe. For once, we are hoisting the championship trophy, and for once, we're on top of the world. Forget chasing a championship. This time, we're celebrating a championship. And this is one party that could last for months to come.
And good morning. You are looking live at Mall B in downtown Cleveland. It is Cavaliers Victory Parade Day. Thousands already out in what is going to be a magical day. I should say another magical day in Cleveland, Ohio.
This is the day of celebration that we have been looking forward to since the moment the trophy touched LeBron's hands. Cleveland is out in force this morning. Some people have been overnight. You're looking now at Eagle Avenue near the start of the parade route at the Quicken Loans Arena.
Now remember, the parade does not actually step off from the queue until 11 o'clock. And let me advise you all here right now that if you're just leaving your home, you will definitely be in time for next year's parade when the Cavaliers celebrate going back-to-back. Mall B is the destination for the parade. And as we pull back and take a look from our broadcast position here, you can see just unbelievable throngs of people that have gathered here. The stage is in front and the stage is set for a historic day in Cleveland. I mean, you go back 9 or 10 days ago, who would have ever thought we would be celebrating an NBA championship, that the Cavaliers would rally from down 3-1, but they set history and did it.
Amazing. You are looking at the best seat in the house. We've got it, and you've got it as well. Good morning, everybody. Russ Mitchell along with Sarah Shookman and Jimmy Donovan. Welcome to our extended coverage of Cavs Victory Parade Day. Guys, I mean, 52 years since we've had a championship here. You've been waiting 32 years since you arrived in Cleveland.
Yeah. Let me turn over the egg timer to let the sands of the hourglass go through a lot of heartbreaking things.
Goodness.
Now, the Indians had a parade when they won the World Series back in the mid-'40s and had that great team. The Browns did not have a parade when they won in 1964. Interesting story about that. They beat the Colts. How did they celebrate? They went to a downtown hotel and had a little dinner and a party. And the reason they did that, because the next day they all had to go to work.
That's right.
They had other jobs at the time.
Difference,
I mean, they were phys ed teachers, insurance salesmen, sporting goods sales. This is very, very different now, but this is very, very real. And still, Sarah and Russ, you pinch yourself and say, I can't believe we're here.
We were just talking about it before we came on the air and saying, what do you think? Is this what you expected? And even the three of us admitted we had no idea what to expect. It's hard to compare to all of those other championship parades we've had here in Cleveland, the first of its kind. And I think the city is certainly coming out in great numbers to support their team. And we've got to thank God or all of the forces for giving us this beautiful day.
I think
Look
that's
at this day.
Beautiful weather. I know walking
Maybe he doesn't hate Cleveland after all.
Walking over here, you could just feel the vibe in the crowd here. Folks are happy. It's a party atmosphere. Everybody's having a great time. And as Jimmy pointed out earlier, it is now, 10:04 on Wednesday morning. The parade doesn't actually kick off until 11 o'clock. But last night, we saw people camping out outside, already getting a good spot.
Yeah.
Today, there's a guy. You showed me a picture of a guy with a lazy boy.
Yes.
Who brought
very creative fan, brought his lazy boy out. Some people are a little upset with him. Maybe he's taking up more real estate than he was given this morning, but he looks very comfortable right there along the parade route.
And Jimmy, you mentioned if you come down here now, you'll make it in time for next
year's parade.
There are some RTA issues today, and
I bet.
Big time delays at the stations and things like that. RTA says it's working feverishly to get things fixed. They're putting more buses on. What's interesting about it, though, we were talking about this earlier, RTA is really personally tweeting
Yes.
A lot of people who are calling in and complaining, saying we're trying our best, stay with us, so hopefully that will clear up as the day goes on.
Hey, we want to thank our hosts here because we have an outstanding broadcast position for the parade today, and then the program will be right in front of us, and we'll have a bird's eye view of it here. So thanks to the Hilton Cleveland downtown for having us here, because we have a fantastic position to take a look at what's going to unfold here today. And what is going to unfold here today is the ultimate thank you by a fan base that has just been waiting for any of the teams, be it the Browns or the Indians or the Cavaliers, to bring this to the city of Cleveland. But it's been amazing, all the winding roads that we've gone through to get to this level. I mean, there have been times, Sarah and Russ, where all three franchises at the same time have been miles away from even really being considered a championship contender. But in the NBA, when you have one guy that can make a big decision, you know, a re-decision, you would have to say, to come back to Cleveland like what happened 2 years ago, things change automatically. Because not only did LeBron James come back to Cleveland, but look at all the talent that came with him. I mean, people would never say, hey, I want to sign up and play for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But when LeBron James said, I'm going back to play there, I mean, then it all fell together.
This is more than a story. This is really cinematic. When you think of the arc here and LeBron coming back, I mean, just amazing. I'm looking for the movie to come out in a few years because I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. As we continue to look out in the Mall B, let's give you a timetable of what we know thus far. Now, this is very fluid. The parade, once again, is scheduled to start at 11 o'clock as it winds through the streets of downtown Cleveland. You're going to see it here on Channel 3. At about 1:30, and again, this is where it gets dicey, the program will begin here at Mall B. The stage is set up. It's fantastic. For every once in a while, you'll probably hear them rehearsing something behind us. The program is set to get underway about 1:30, and that's when the Cavaliers come up and get their talk to the crowd. And also, there's a big rumor today that Bernie Kosar is going to be.
Wow, that's great. Now, I saw as I was coming in to the Hilton here, to our broadcast position, the last man to win a championship, to kind of headman a championship here in Cleveland, the great Jim Brown, was downstairs, and so he's been here, and he's been so connected with LeBron James. I mean, there's that famous scene last year before, I think it was Game 4, when the Cavaliers were, you know, coming back against the Golden State Warriors, and LeBron did that namaste bow to Jim Brown, who was sitting right there in the first row. But there's been a great connection, and LeBron has tapped into a guy like Jim Brown many, many times throughout his career and said, you know, how do you handle all this? How do you handle the pressure of winning? How do you handle getting something over the top to win a championship? And, you know, and it's really worked. And so LeBron's a great historian about sports and certainly about basketball, but he tapped into everything that he could possibly do. How about this fact? When it was all looking pretty glum, what did he do last week? He viewed the graduation speech, the commencement speech given by Steve Jobs at Stanford University, that was absolutely amazing, and listened to that, and then had certain members of the team listen to it to push forward. And the method was, and the message I think in that address was, never give up, even when everyone thinks you can't do it, just keep pushing through. They're going to look at you and say you got no chance, but you still do it. And that's amazing.
That's a great story. I also understand he watched The Godfather. And of course, we know all wisdom comes from The Godfather.
Yes, he talked about a lot of those movies, you know, and you have to think that for Cavalier fans, it means that much more to know that King James realizes the magnitude of today, that it's what he's been working towards. It's the promise he's kept for all of us.
Think about that promise, Sarah. I mean, that's a big promise to make when he came back.
Incredible.
In that letter that was authored and published in Sports Illustrated at the time, that he was returning, but it was right out there. He laid it out there. He didn't say, we're going to be a good team. We're going to be a playoff team. He said, I'm coming back to win a championship. That's a big, big promise. And he almost did it last year single-handedly when they were all so beaten up, and he did do it this year.
Once again, we've got coverage from all over downtown today. We've got you from every angle, so sit back, you can grab a beverage, grab a coffee this time of day if you're so inclined to do that, and watch us throughout the day and watch our fantastic parade coverage. Andrew Horansky is outside the queue where the parade is going to begin in about 50 minutes or so. Drew, tell us what's happening from your vantage point.
Well, Russ, I bet you can probably hear this crowd from where you are right now, because take a look at all these folks who came out early this morning. Hours they've been here. Fortunately, it hasn't been too hot outside for them, and I think we can let this speak for itself.
Let's go Cavs! Let's go Cavs! Let's go Cavs! Let's go Cavs! Let's go Cavs!
excitement here. If you take a look up Ontario right now from our position here on Eagle, you can see that it's just a sea of wine and gold. Fans here from all across Northeast Ohio. We're asking some people here where they came from. Let me talk to you for a second, sir. Where did you come from to be here today?
Oh, it's a long time coming. It's well deserved. This city needs this. December 27th, 1964 was a long time ago.
What does a victory like this mean for Cleveland? I mean, we've waited so long. It's hope. It's uplifting. What is it to you?
The jokes are over about this town. The people are great. The fans are great. They're the most loyal fans in the United States.
Where did you come from today? Where do you live?
Parma.
Parma, okay. And George, if we can just pan over this crowd a little bit more, you can see so many more folks. Too many to fit on one camera shot at a time. Actually, you're looking up the road towards the Lane Carnegie Bridge. We were actually there a few minutes ago, and just a sea of people walking over here right now. Again, so much excitement. Where are you from? Where did you come from today to be here?
He came from Pittsburgh, and I came up from Canton.
Canton and Pittsburgh.
We've been walking and walking and walking.
Walking from where? Canton?
We walked from Pittsburgh to get here.
Okay. What does this day mean to you guys? I mean, for so long, Cleveland has been hoping for this.
Come on, dude. Everybody's been waiting for so long. This is just the most amazing thing that has ever happened.
I would agree. And even from Pittsburgh can show some love for Cleveland.
I lived out here for like 2 years. And this is one of the best sports things I've ever witnessed. So,
did you ever think you would see something like this in your lifetime, Cleveland?
Never in my life. I love it. Love it. It's electric here.
I would agree with you on that. And again, if we just take a look at the crowds, people have been here since early this morning to get a good spot. This is actually the beginning of the parade route. We're going to be here bringing you live coverage when the parade starts here at the top of the hour. But for now, let me send it back to you, Russ and Sarah.
All right, Andrew, thanks. Looks like a lot of folks are having so much fun down here. And again, walking over here this morning, just the vibe in the crowd was really, really great energy, and you really were feeding off of that.
I think people had decided long ago, from maybe at least from the moment Sunday, that they were going to be here today. Right. The hard decisions were where to go along this route, whether you were going to head over by the queue where Andrew is, whether you were going to come down here closer to the mall where some of this afternoon's ceremonies and celebrations are going to continue, or what time to leave your house, right?
Yeah.
We had that discussion, you know, trying to decide how long did we think it was going to take us to get down here? What mode of transportation were we going to use? And folks still perhaps trying to figure that out at this point because of the number of issues and things we've run into along the way. But I would say for the most part, you know, people seem calm, they seem happy, they're taking it all in stride today because you can't have a better moment than this.
Oh, I think so as well. And I talked to so many people, as I'm sure you did as well, who said at first they said, you know, I'm not going to come to the parade. It's too much hassle, I'm not going to do it. They thought about it for 5 seconds. They went, you know what? I am going to go down there. I'm going to take my kids down there. I'm going to take my family down there because this is something that we may not see again quite frankly. So anyway, the Indians win the championship this fall.
That's right.
They'll want to do it again.
We may not have to wait quite as long as we've been waiting this time around. But Chris Ty, of course, has been covering all of the parade route conversation today. We're going to toss it over to him for that.
Let's run the route here in red. Starts at the queue at 11 a.m. They shoot right down Ontario up to Carnegie and East 9th Progressive Field. Then the parade route shoots up East 9th Street all the way to Lakeside, just short of the Rock Hall. And Mall B right here, the stage celebration is set there for noontime. It's the big grassy area right next to the new convention center.
All right.
Well, thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you, Chris Ty. Good to know the parade route, certainly. Also, traffic as well. Obviously, a lot of folks want to know about traffic heading down here. If you're still headed, I mean, you could try. I mean, it's worth trying. Danny Wiggins is back at the house. She's got some traffic information for us. Hi, Danny.
Good morning, Russ and Sarah. And I tell you, you usually don't see slow traffic at 10 a.m. or after 10 a.m., but we're seeing it near downtown Cleveland. So if you're making your last-minute decisions like, hey, do I want to go? Do I want to go? Yeah, here we go. Here are the delays. We're seeing them on Woodland Avenue into downtown, as well as 77 North and 90 East. Here's a picture on 77 near I-90 where you see the slowing. But we take a look at that drive time, 77 North from Independence, an 11-minute commute. That's about a 4-minute delay. The inner belt, I-90 East, as you're approaching the inner belt, we're seeing a little bit of slowing, and it's about a 6-minute delay over the inner belt bridge. And don't forget, RTA is experiencing big delays. They said they had too much too many people, too many riders for capacity. There were more riders than they can handle the system. So RTA train parking lots are full, and they are using buses to supplement the train. So please pack your patience if you're traveling downtown. Plus, we have 25 or over 20 road closures and intersection closures, as well as parking bans. We have that fully listed on WKYC.com/traffic. Now let's head back to Russ and Sarah. Boy, that view behind you, amazing.
Thank you, Danny, very much. Yeah, it seems like perhaps road traffic moved smoother than people thought it was going to. Rail traffic, really the difficult point here. But we mentioned earlier, you know, the @GCRTA account, Greater Cleveland RTA, has been very responsive to everybody's concerns on Twitter. And they've said, you know, 800,000 people, that's the number that they're trying to transport today. They tweeted that out a little while ago. The system's not built to handle that. So they are supplementing with buses, as Danny was saying, and hopefully you can use that if you're still trying to make your way downtown this morning.
And they're also apologizing a lot, which is great to see, because you don't normally hear that from an agency saying we're sorry. We are trying our best, and we got to believe that they are, because this is quite a day, quite something that would overwhelm any system at that point.
Certainly.
The weather so far today has been picture perfect. Not too hot, not too cool. However, what's up for the rest of the day? Holly Giangreco has been out and about since early this morning. That's her JOB to take a look at this. Holly, what's up? Good morning to you.
Is the sun shining on Cleveland?
Cleveland rock!
I mean, are maps necessary? I don't even know. We need to embrace.
I came all the way from Houston for this. What's up? We're #1, baby. All the way from H-Town.
Let's get a look at your forecast. I'm going to try not to scream at you at home. We've got a gorgeous, perfect parade day forecast. Over the next 12 hours, we're literally talking sunshine and beautiful weather. Temperatures topping out in the low 80s. We're going to keep it dry and hold off on the thunderstorm chances until much later today. So that is fantastic news. From there, we'll talk about that chance, which will include some stronger storms, but not until later tonight. So I really think we're in great shape. Parade and beyond. And on Future View, as we do some tracking, this all comes into play. Some showers possible this evening, but they'll be hit and miss. It's more overnight into tomorrow that we see the biggest threat for some stronger storms. And then we're clearing right back out for that weekend. We're slightly excited here, if you haven't noticed. Forecast for today, we're going to call it parade perfection, because that's exactly what it is. Highs in the low 80s, partly to mostly sunny skies. It's so comfortable, you know? I mean, low 80s is seasonal and great. We've got the thunderstorms late tonight into tomorrow, and then we're back to sunshine. Let me hear you! You, but I will toss it back to you and give you a big hug.
All right. Oh, wow. Thank you, Holly.
Thank you, Holly.
Holly Giangreco, the mistress of ceremonies over there.
She is. She's holding it down at the queue.
Holding it down.
As she has been all morning. And we are here at the Hilton Cleveland downtown. What a beautiful view we've got. Best view in Cleveland. And it's certainly comfortable. As she said, we could get used to this feeling on a parade day.
It feels fantastic. You stay with us throughout the day. You are watching Channel 3's continuous coverage of Cavs Victory Parade Day. A magical day in Cleveland, Ohio. We are coming right back. Stay with us.
Cleveland today, Jim Donovan, Russ Mitchell, and Sarah are joining us here today. And as we get set, you're taking a look at the high overhead look of Cleveland from the Goodyear blimp. And what a beautiful sight it is here in Cleveland today, as the weather is perfect and we get set to welcome the Cavaliers after winning the NBA championship. And the crowds are absolutely huge. I look down the streets here, and we'll go over to the beginning of the parade route over on Eagle Avenue in a second, And I have to tell you, they have to be 50 or 60 deep right now along the parade route. Never mind the crowds here in Mall Beef once the Cavaliers get to the stage site and continue the program here today. Let's go over to Eagle Avenue and the man that has landed back in Cleveland. The Eagle has landed. Super Dave Chudowski, who is with the Cavs every step of the way through those 16 wins. It started with Detroit, then to Atlanta, then to Toronto, and then 3 trips, it seems, out to Golden State, and then a championship. And he is home. Hi, Dave.
Hopefully I get like a free hotel or something out of this deal with all of the hotels I've stayed in and the flights. And I'll tell you, the journey was worth it. And I got to tell you, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. Incredible sights. I just want you to show you what I'm seeing behind me, Mall B. This is where the parade is going to end, of course, and the stage behind me where we will see the players. I reached out to the Cavaliers, and they told me you're going to see, obviously, the players, Coach Lou, David Griffith, Dan Gilbert, other people in the front office are going to be on that stage later today. Mayor Frank Jackson. That's all they would give me, though. I have to sit here, though, or stand and wonder if there's any surprises that the Cavaliers might bring out tonight. Like me being someone from Cleveland, a native Clevelander, like how awesome would it be to see Jim Brown or Bernie Kosar up on that stage? Urban Meyer would be unbelievable. I know he's in town. How about just someone like Z? Could you imagine 1 million people just going Z? I mean, just something like that to get this crowd fired up like they need it. Let me show you, Craig, also, if we can go over here. To get here today, I walked down Lakeside, and it was a walk I will never forget. These people right here really had the great idea, because what they're going to see is the parade come down Lakeside, and then they'll be able to turn around and watch what's happening on the stage. Jim, you mentioned it. I can't tell you how deep the people are, and I don't know if you can see Lakeside here, if Craig could get in on there, but I mean, there's no street. It is a sea of people. Unbelievable sight right now. Always wondered my entire life if we would ever see this day, but certainly we are seeing it today, as it is going to be a journey like no other. Let's show some video now of the incredible day that it was Sunday night in that locker room and what the Cavaliers were able to do to deliver a championship to this town. And you know, Jim, you mentioned it, all the cities I traveled through, and when they were down 3-1, I think, hey, we all had a lot of doubts if they were going to be able to pull it off, but they were able to deliver a championship. And that moment inside Oracle Arena is one that will live with me for the rest of my life. And I know for all the million people that are going to be down here, however many people it's going to be incredible. But that scene when they were able to pull it off. The other thing I want to talk about too is, you know, you go back to the teams like 1995 with the Indians and 97. And the great thing about those teams where you fell in love with guys, Kenny Lofton, Albert Bell, Carlos Baerga, and they didn't even win it all. Think about these guys now and how they will live forever in Cleveland sports history. And Richard Jefferson and LeBron James, and you just fall in love with these guys, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. So this will be a special day for all of Cleveland here today, and I'm honored to be a part of it. One other note I want to throw at you. If you're down here, cell service is tough. If you're at home expecting pictures, text messages from family or loved ones, it's pretty dicey. I can tell you that firsthand. So if you're not down here, enjoy it right here on Channel 3 today. I know I am from this spot. I can see the parade and the stage, and we'll be with you all day long. Jim, let's send it back up to you.
All right, thanks very much, Dave, and we welcome in from the Akron Beacon-Journal, Jason Lloyd, the outstanding Cavs beat writer, who did a marvelous job for us through the playoffs, and I mean that. Many times you were probably hearing me through an earpiece, but it was sincere. I'm going to give you a hug. It was great. I mean, it really was. It was good. Okay, when you're sitting there and you're in the Oracle Arena the other night and Kyrie Irving hits the three-point shot, as a longtime beat writer of the Cavaliers, you got to be thinking, what's my lead going to be? I want to make this one memorable. What was going through your mind?
Well, Jimmy, I got to tell you, the lead was actually already written because it sounds ridiculous. I was so confident they were going to win that game. Everything felt different about it. I knew that I just knew they were going to win. My lead was already written. It was for Biner, for Mesa, for Calavito, for everything that had gone on for 52 years. All that rotten rust got thrown in the Cuyahoga River the other night.
Perfect. Right on point there. You know what's amazing here? While Dave was talking and over at the Q, Jason and I are standing here, and they just put video highlights up on the board. And the highlight they first showed was LeBron's amazing block shot of Andre Iguodala when the game was tied at 89-89. And listen to the reaction you're still getting. It's absolutely amazing. And Jason, you were out there in Oakland, but that's what it was like outside the Q and down East 4th Street when people were watching the game the other night.
Yeah, I was amazed at how many Cavs fans made it to Oracle Arena. I don't know how they found tickets. I don't know how they got there. But as that game was winding down and it was obvious the Cavs were winning, as the arena cleared out, all of the Cavs fans made their way down into the corner by the Cavs bench. There was a couple hundred of them there. It was a really impressive turnout for Cleveland.
How did LeBron do this? I said at the top of the show with Sarah and Russ, I said, listen, that's a very, very big promise to make. To come back and say, I'm coming home, and I would have been fine just with that, but I'm coming home to win a championship. Now, he almost did it single-handedly last year.
Right.
But then he came through and did it. How do you think it was done?
To be perfectly honest, I think it was done in December and January when he was trying to teach Kyrie how to be an MVP, how to be a leader. I remember this conversation I had with him in Texas. Kyrie was on the court shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting. He had just come back, and LeBron said he knows I will never leave him on the court when he's out there working. If he's the last guy, I will not leave him. And the two of them were out there for an hour and a half after the formal portion of practice ended. Guys were sweaty, they were smelly, they wanted to get on the bus, and they were frankly getting aggravated that these guys wouldn't get off the floor. And it was those little moments like that where he really taught Kyrie how to be a leader, how to win, and Kyrie came up with the big shot to win the game.
You know what that story reminds me of? 1980, the U.S. Olympic team, Herb Brooks out of the movie Miracle, when he kept the team out on the ice when he didn't think they played well and had to do the up and downs.
Yeah.
Now, January, 30-11, I think their record was.
Yep.
And they win a game in Brooklyn. The general manager goes in the locker room, David Griffin, and says, the team looks like they don't enjoy anything, even a win, and he fires David Blatt. Now, earlier in the week, they had been blown out by Golden State. How did that all work out? Did that move had to be made?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's still a lot of people in Cleveland who love David, and I can understand why. I can appreciate it when you look at the record and see why. It became evident to me the day after Christmas, David Blatt's future in Cleveland was very short. If the Cavs had, like I said before with Dave, if they had the stones to make the move, because it was a gutsy move to make under the circumstances, but after the loss at Golden State on Christmas Day, David sort of lost the team, and it became apparent to me when I landed in Portland the next day that they had tuned him out. There was a terrible loss on December 26th, that next day on a back-to-back, and that was sort of the silent protest. And from that point on, it sort of unraveled to where they had to make a move.
So nationally, since the game ended on Sunday night and the Cavaliers win the world title, nationally, there's all this talk about, all right, LeBron came home and he won a championship and he did it for Cleveland. Will he move on again? Okay, now we're going to enjoy this today and soak this in, but I got to ask you, you're plugged in to LeBron and the league. Is there anything to that?
I'm not going to tell you that LeBron's going to finish his career here, but I don't think he's leaving next week. I don't think that, he can be a free agent again this summer. He structures his contract this way every year. It keeps the pressure on the organization. It gives him all the leverage in the world. He signs a 1+1, so he's got a one-year deal and a player option for the next year. He's done it the last 2 seasons. He very well might do it again, but I do expect him to opt out again this summer because the cap's going to explode. He will opt out and become a free agent again. I don't think he's leaving this summer.
Will the roster change a lot?
You're going to see some turnover. Richard Jefferson's already announced his retirement, that he's leaving. Frankly, I know people are going to throw things at the TV. I still think it's very possible Kevin Love is traded in the month of July.
Wow.
It's just for a variety of reasons that I'm not going to spoil today with on Parade Day. But don't be shocked if Kevin is not on this team in the fall.
One last note before we say goodbye to Jason for now, and that is a tremendous piece you wrote. The 52 notes that you had about the playoff run and about the finals. The touching note about your dad, who was not in the best of health, and you didn't know if you were going to make it to Game 7 because he was having a procedure done, and he told you this is what husbands and fathers do. You go to work.
You go to work.
Is Dad okay?
He's fine. Dick Lloyd's fine. He's home watching on TV. He's doing just fine today.
Jason delivered papers as a kid?
Delivered papers as a kid.
Dad used to drive him around to make make sure that everybody got their paper on time. Thanks a lot. We hope to have you back.
Yep.
All right.
Be here.
Jason Lloyd from the Akron Beacon-Journal. Our celebrating with the Cavs here today on Channel 3 continues. The parade will soon step off as we are live on a historic day in downtown Cleveland.
And welcome back to Mall B. Sarah, I'm not even going to try to guesstimate how many people are just here on the mall, but let's just say tens of thousands, right? That's fair.
That's a very safe guesstimate, I think, Russ. And they are going crazy because they have just lit up the screens behind us on Mall B, and they're playing what else but the end of Game 7. You know how to get a crowd going in Cleveland.
They really do.
You show that clock run out.
They're alternating between a loop of the end of the game and, of course, those wonderful promos that the Cavs do for the team. So it's been interesting to watch every few minutes this crowd go crazy. Is that Ahmad Crump back there? I think Ahmad Crump is actually on stage, or at least he's on the big screen there, getting folks riled up, which is a good thing.
And folks have been here waiting for a couple of hours already, or maybe overnight in some cases. Not on the mall, of course, but along the parade route all the way back towards the queue. And there is quite a crowd now. I mean, from what we can see from our vantage point here at the Hilton Cleveland downtown, what would you say, 10 deep at least all the way down here past 6th Street?
10 deep, certainly. By the way, we just saw the Goodyear blimp as well. So the Goodyear blimp in the house also this morning.
Akron born, you know, the hashtag.
Akron born. I know somebody else is Akron born. Besides
LeBron James?
Well, LeBron James, there's one other person. We'll figure that out later, though. How's that? Can't think of that person. Wow, look at that. That's a shot from the blimp, guys. Is that right?
We're looking at a shot from the Goodyear blimp right now.
That is beautiful.
Just incredible. You know, the blimp has its own Twitter account, and they're looking over 9th Street right now, and the blimp has been tweeting over the last few days just about the celebration, about what it means for Akron as well as Cleveland.
That's right.
And we know LeBron has talked about that a lot. They're going to be celebrating in downtown Akron at Lock 3 tomorrow. But today the party is here in downtown Cleveland, and quite a party it is, Russ.
It certainly is. Michael O'Mara is standing by live outside of City Hall, where, as Sarah said, folks are standing at least 10 deep. There's the blimp right there. Hey, Michael, what's happening where you are?
It's, of course, incredible, and we're on top of our live truck because there's no way you can even show anything from down there. This crowd continues to grow. It continues to build, and all of these people are just amped up. It is extraordinary. Yes, these people right down here. I mean, what an extraordinary moment. All these people, the mood is so celebratory. They're patient, they're waiting. We've got 22 minutes to go, and they can just feel the love down here. I mean, we've been waiting our lives for this moment. And take a look, by the way, the free stamp over on our left. I mean, it's really dangerous, but those people have been all the way up on the top over there, and the police have not come to chase them down yet. But I gotta believe sooner or later they've got to go because that's really dangerous. But these people have come down here almost for 2 hours, and we still have another 22 minutes to go. So that's the latest from here. We'll keep you apprised what's going on right down here. Unbelievable.
All right, Mike. Thank you so much. Look at that.
Wow.
The parade now about 20 minutes away, and you know, folks are still going to try to make it down here. I think I'm sure some folks are saying, "I'm going to stay home until the very last minute." I don't know if that's a good idea, but a lot of people did that.
And we'll see if it's going to work for some folks. Danny Wiggins has been keeping an eye on traffic throughout the morning for us, giving you those live updates on Twitter, on Facebook, and also right here on Channel 3. Danny, how do things look right now?
Well, actually, Russ and Sarah, Russ, you're right on. If you did wait till the last minute to drive in, you're going to be pretty good because we're not seeing big delays into downtown, just really over the Interbelt Bridge or into the Interbelt and I-90 at East 22nd Street. Not a big delay here, about a 2 to 3 minute delay. So we're not seeing delays on our highways of over 5 minutes. Remember, that parade kicks off at 11 a.m. Here's the parade route around the queue up East 9th at Lakeside. It's already packed and full. Your problem is pretty much going to be parking. Remember, we have 25 or over 20 road and intersection closures, parking bans in multiple locations. We have a complete list on WKYC.com/traffic. So Russ and Sarah, we head back out to you. Right now, if you're driving in, pretty good, but the problem, of course, parking. I've seen it for almost $50.
Oh, yeah. That's even if you can find that space anymore, Jenny. $50. You're exactly right about that. Let's kind of run through the timetable once again as we know it. The parade getting underway in about 21 minutes from now. That's scheduled to last about an hour and a half, maybe 2.5 hours. This is a really fluid schedule. At about 1:30, the party starts here on the stage. The Cavaliers will make their way here. We'll hear proclamations from the mayor. We'll hear from the Cavaliers. And that's when things should get crazy. Also, understand there may be a concert today. We're not quite sure who yet, so I don't want to say the name, but we are hearing.
A few surprises probably that the Cavaliers have up their sleeve this afternoon, I would guess.
I think so.
They really are trying to start the party already. As we mentioned earlier, they were showing highlights of the game. Now they're showing the post-game interview with LeBron, where he just said, Cleveland, this is for you, for all of you. Man, we have had such a relationship with LeBron. This is his home, you know. Particularly Akron has always been loyal to him since he first really came out on the national stage as a high school player at St. Vincent St. Mary High School. I was telling you the other day, those games used to be on pay-per-view here.
That is amazing.
They had a huge following even back in the day, but this was really the moment that everyone had hoped for, had planted that seed of hope that many years ago, Russ.
I'ma do what makes my city and my state happy, and that's why I came back. I love you. I'm back.
Welcome back to a glorious day in Cleveland. The Cavaliers are NBA World Champions. How do you trace a championship? I think because LeBron James is the greatest player in the NBA and in the world, you go all the way back, and you go all the way back to the year of 2000. 2000, when we got a telephone call in the Channel 3 sports department at that time, and that was, they said to us, hey, listen, there's this kid down at Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. His name is LeBron James, and he is absolutely unbelievable. He was a freshman at that time, and they went on and won a state championship. And we went down there to do a feature on him, and we pulled him out of class and brought him over into that kind of dark gymnasium at the time, and that's been upgraded, I understand, because of LeBron. And we talked to him at that time and said, do you think you're going to go to college or go on to the NBA? And he was saying, that's a decision down the road. Well, he won another state championship as a sophomore. They were upset in his junior year, and then they played that national schedule in his senior year where they played all over the country. Palo Alto, Greensboro, North Carolina. They played at the Wolstein Center on national TV. And the legend of LeBron James was hatched at that time. I'll never forget as we pulled him out of a class down at Akron St. Vincent St. Mary High School and had a chance to meet him for the first time. And there's been a lot that's happened since. Jason, what was your first introduction to LeBron James?
Sophomore year, he was sitting by himself in the locker room at St. V eating a sub sandwich. He said, hey, come here. You want some of my sandwich? And he called me over and sat me on the bench and said, what do you want? What do you want to know? You want some of my sandwich? And that will always last with me.
Jason Lloyd of the Akron Beacon Journal with us once again. He's covered LeBron all throughout this thing. There was an interesting article that came out after the championship, and it came out and said that he really counted on a guy like Keith Dambrot, who coached him in high school for his first couple of years at Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. Then Keith went to Akron, and Drew Joyce Sr. took over the job with the Irish down at St. V. But he also said even when he left Cleveland, he couldn't handle the fact that people were so upset with him, and Keith Dambrot really helped him through that.
Keith has been one of his biggest champions. Keith, there's been a core group of people that never turned on him through everything, and Keith certainly is in that group, and LeBron will be faithful to him for the rest of his life.
The other thing, I would say the city of Akron, too, never turned on him. He was always their favorite son. I'm going to throw this at you about LeBron. There have been so many developments in his game and his body and how he's really changed himself and how he's changed his game and found his jumper, lost his jumper, found it again.
maybe learned a low post game. But the thing I thought he did, especially in this series, was he mentally went after the Warriors. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and some others. That's something that Michael Jordan did so effectively. He could mentally go after you. What do you think about that?
I think he learned how to do that in Miami. I think Miami taught him so much. For as many people, for everything that we went through when he left to go to Miami, that was the best thing for him in so many ways. I think he learned how to win there. He didn't know how to win when he left Cleveland. I thought that really taught him how to learn. It taught him how to help incorporate others, because throughout this postseason, he kept getting over and over again, when are you going to take over? When are you going to take over? When are you going to take over? And he played his game, and he kept involving Kyrie. He kept going to J.R. Smith and Amon Shumpert. He learned how to win. He learned how to include everyone around him, and he learned how to attack an opponent.
Jason, typically and historically through the years, NBA draft night has been a big night for the Cavaliers and all of us in Cleveland, because they, in a lot of times had a very high pick, if not the first pick. Now, they don't have a pick as we sit here right now, coming up in tomorrow night's draft. Is the draft important to them at all?
Well, they're going to get a pick. I do think that they're going to get a pick. They'll buy a pick, probably low first round, early second round, somewhere in there. A lot of teams, for a variety of reasons, regarding the cap, roster, whatever, they have a pick they don't want. The Cavs will trade them the European rights to a guy who's now a janitor, and they'll give him $3 million, and they'll get a pick. That's how it works, and they'll get a pick. So I do suspect that the Cavs, they've done a deep dive on this draft. I do think they're going to come out with a pick. Don't ask me who they're going to take. I have no idea who's even in this draft right now. That's what the next 24 hours are for, to figure out.
But isn't it unbelievable how it's right up on you after you win and go into a seventh game and then win the championship? How was LeBron so calm when the team was down 3-1? And am I reading into that? Was he calm?
He was. I spoke to him in the locker room after Game 4. He was very emotional. It was just he and I talking. He was very emotional. He was very upset with some of the calls that were made on the floor. There was a lot swelling inside of him, and by the time he made it to the podium, it was all gone. He was able to flush it out, and he was back to LeBron. But how was he so calm at 3-1? How was he so calm in Game 7?
Yeah,
it was just his approach was, one game, one shot, one game at a time. We're going out there at 3-1. We have to fly home anyway. Let's make them come with us. And it was really those baby steps. Okay, we got it to 3-2. Okay, now we're going home. Now we can get it to 3-3. And once you get it to a Game 7, I'll take that guy on my team over anybody.
So last question to you. Do you enjoy covering him?
Very much so. People ask me all the time, what's it like covering LeBron? I have not one bad thing to say about him. I think for all of the spotlight that's on him, all the scrutiny that he's under every second of every day of his life, I think he handles himself incredibly well. He's very accessible to the local writers who travel with him every day. We can get him anytime we want. I think he's tremendous.
All right, good to have you along our coverage today, Jason. Thanks again. Let's check in with Dave Chudowski out on that parade route right now. Hi, Dave.
Jim, hello. You talking about LeBron James and when you had to go down to meet him, when you got that call about him, brings back memories for me as well. Before I could come home, I worked in Toledo, and I remember coming back and watching him at the Wolstein Center. I remember they played games at the Wolstein Center and down at the Jar, because have more people be able to watch him, because his name became so big and nationally, and he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, The Chosen One, and everyone started to know who LeBron James was. And I remember coming home to watch a game, and I just thought, man, the Cavs have to get this guy. And I think, like you say, that's what makes this so amazing, that everything that fell the way it did to make this day happen, even him leaving to go to Miami and coming back, and you land Kyrie Irving and you get the pieces to make this puzzle fit. Ironically, LeBron had a puzzle that they put together in the locker room with the 16 pieces, one for each win in the playoffs. And because of LeBron James, we're standing here today. And I remember saying on the air back in 2008, 2009, I can't remember, I remember saying, boy, if we can't win a championship with LeBron James, we may never win a championship in this town. Half kidding, half serious, because if he could not deliver a title, I was wondering if anyone could. The scene here is electric. It's incredible. I don't have enough words to describe it. It's hard to believe there's more people that are even here since last time I talked to you. But now I am wondering how any more people could get here. There's a little bit of room right here where I'm standing, but it is packed from one direction all the way to the other. I'm looking down Lakeside Avenue right now, and it is unbelievable. unbelievable. Again, I don't know how they're going to get the parade down there. Obviously, they'll do it, but it is incredible here, Jim. What a feeling. Just looking around all of downtown right now, looking all at everyone downtown and Brown Stadium, First Energy Stadium's to my left. The blimp is right above me right now. You could not have asked for a better day. Here we go. Enjoy it, Cleveland. We're about to celebrate the world champions. Jim, back to you.
All right, Dave, thanks very much. If we were on time, and I don't know, with these kind of crowds and trying to maneuver through this, we're about 7 minutes away from the parade stepping off and actually starting to hit the streets of Cleveland. We'll take a timeout. Our aerial coverage today provided by Goodyear. Congratulations, Cleveland, on a day 52 years in the making. Goodyear, Akron born. We'll be right back.
And there it is, the Goodyear blimp, a wonderful shot of Maltby. And you get a look at just how many people are here for this, not only the parade, but this is for the presentation that's going to take place at about 1:30 this afternoon. Wow. My goodness, look at that.
Look at that.
Incredible.
I mean, we're up high here, on the Hilton Cleveland downtown, but the blimp is obviously higher, and it has a better depth perception on that. Look at that. That is amazing.
Oh, wow. Not even going to venture to guess how many people are out here today. And again, this is just small B. This does not include the parade route.
Right.
And Sarah, we were talking a second ago, the city not ready to give any numbers just yet.
No, the city is not ready to give us any estimates. I did actually just tweet at Goodyear Blimp, though, so if they could hear us and they could give us an estimate, I know they're a little busy up there giving us these beautiful shots over downtown Cleveland. The sea of wine and gold, you really can see it from the sky. You can certainly see it from our vantage point here at the Hilton, and hopefully you can see it at home. We're so glad you're joining us for our coverage here, celebrating a championship. We're going to be with you throughout the morning, and the parade now, if it gets started on time, should be just about 5 minutes or so away, guys.
Yeah, you were saying a second ago, Jimmy, very good point. With this kind of crowd, I mean, we don't have any idea. We don't know if it's not going to be good on time, but with a crowd like this, you don't know. Things could be delayed a few minutes.
The Cavaliers, about 3 or 4 minutes ago, had just arrived at the queue.
Oh,
so they, I would have loved to have been with them. They got to the queue. I didn't get near
escorted.
I didn't get near the queue. I think they have been escorted everywhere since that plane touched down on Monday. Now, we'll be going to Fox Sports Ohio's coverage, and they're going to give you great coverage. And I want to congratulate them, as they'll be the base of our coverage here today. But, I mean, they do such a great job in covering the Cavaliers. Yeah. So Jeff Phelps and Mr. Cavalier Austin Carr and Campy Russell will be there, and also Fred McLeod, the television voice of the Cavaliers, Allie Clifton, who does such a great job on the sideline. They'll be working the parade route, as the Cavaliers will be in convertibles, and they'll be able to go up and get their thoughts. And that should be interesting because, as you said, we're getting an overhead look at the crowd here at Mall B, and out on the streets, I mean, it's got to be 50, 60 deep.
Oh, it's something else. I'm guessing that Austin is not going to say one time today, get that weak stuff out of here, because it's all good today.
There is no weak stuff to be found in Cleveland today. Everybody's bringing their A game, and of course, lots of smiles and having fun down here. We are getting so excited for this to get started. Do we know anything about what it's going to look like? There's 60-some vehicles going to be in the parade. The Ohio State Marching Band is here, always a fan favorite.
Oh, my
and you were just mentioning the Cavaliers are going to be traveling in convertibles.
Yeah, that's what I understand. And we should have great coverage of that, okay? I mean, I think that there are some cameras that will be in the convertibles with them. And, of course, they'll be very accessible to their reporters there. And then, of course, they'll get a chance to come down here. And I think they're going to go into Public Hall to get organized there for a down period once the parade rests here and arrives here, and then they'll come out on stage, and that's going to be something to be seen. That's why this crowd is here. Now, this crowd has chosen here, and you get a chance to, and they'll be watching on big video screens here as the parade is just about ready to begin.
Yeah, we've been watching what they've been watching here in the crowd. It's interesting. They've been playing the end of the game on a loop.
Yeah.
And you know when that moment comes when we won the game because
if only we knew Sunday night, Russ, how that ended, because that was unbelievable. Did not that game seem 89-89 for a half hour?
It sure
did. Yes. That final 1 minute of play, which lasted about 10 minutes in real time, and in our hearts really stopped for the.
But
no one could catch their breath.
But if memory serves me correctly, Channel 3 Sports correctly projected that victory.
Yeah.
Andrew Aransky's standing there. Hey, Andrew, what's up?
Hey, Sarah. Well, we're all waiting here for this parade to begin, and what do you guys all think about this? Excited to see the parade?
Cavs are champs! Cavs are champs!
Let me give you guys just a look up Ontario right now. You can see that the last time we were live about 45 minutes ago, the crowd is probably not even doubled, but tripled, quadrupled. A lot of excitement down there. You can see, of course, the LeBron image there over at Huron in Ontario, and then all the way down the street here. It is a sea of wine and gold. How excited are you?
What?
How excited are you today?
Really excited.
Yeah, who did you come here with?
Dan and my dad.
Okay, very exciting. Obviously, you brought the little guy here today. How big of a day is this for you?
It's awesome. Waited 34 years. This guy gets it his first year, so glad to be here.
What does this mean for the city in terms of just a boost right now?
Oh, a complete morale booster. I mean, we've been waiting on this for 52 years, so it's a great feeling.
It's a great feeling. And how is getting down here today? Have you ever seen anything quite like this before?
No, not at all. We walked about 3 miles to get down here, so it's crazy.
Some strong shoulders for that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. And of course, if you take a look this way too, you can see that the crowds are continuing to come over around the corner, actually, at the Lorraine Carnegie Bridge. Russ and Sarah, just a sea of people. They are standing on bridges. They are standing in the streets. They are filling the sidewalks. A lot of excitement out here, and we're just waiting for it all to begin. But for now, let me throw it back to you.
All right, my friend, thank you so much. It is 10:59, 11 o'clock straight up, just seconds away. Looks like this is going to be delayed for a few minutes. Jimmy was pointing out the Cavs just arrived not long ago, so they've probably got to get settled and all that good stuff. And Sarah, you've got some parade route info for us.
Yeah, so we were just talking to Andrew, who of course was right outside of the queue, which is where everything begins this morning. Then they're going to leave west on Huron Road over to Ontario. They're going to take a left on Ontario, left onto Carnegie, and then come down East 9th Street. So you know there are a ton of people all the way down East 9th, and it really that's from 77 all the way to Lakeside Avenue here, and then they will turn onto Lakeside and finish up on East 6th Street, and that's where you said, Jimmy, they're going to go into Public Hall, kind of regroup, and then come out, of course, on the stage for a presentation we're being told should begin right around 1:30 or so.
Now, you talk about comparisons, okay, you know, against other parades. Now, remember, LeBron won 2 titles down in Miami, so it would be interesting to hear his perception of what's going to happen here when he sees this crowd here today and what it was like in those 2 parades down in Miami.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is bigger, okay, because I think they kind of take things a little bit softer down there. The other thing that's interesting in comparison, LeBron never shed a tear when he won those 2 titles down in Miami.
Right.
I mean, he won them, and he was very, very happy and very emotional in that way. But remember on Sunday night, he broke down emotionally and cried after he won the championship with the Cavaliers. And I think that tells you how much this one means to him. I mean, he went out on that limb and promised that he was coming back here to do it, and he did it, and he broke down emotionally. That was not the case in those 2 championships in Miami.
Really looking forward to what he has to say when he takes the stage here later on this afternoon.
I bet he's last.
I bet you're right. I bet you're right. Jimmy Donovan, producer.
Yes.
I bet you're exactly right.
Yeah.
As we look behind us, there is something going on up on the stage right now. Someone's speaking right now, getting everybody. That's Ahmad. Is it Ahmad?
Ahmad and Nicole, yeah. Ahmad, of course, the in-arena announcer over at the Q. They've taken the stage, and they're getting the crowd here at Mall B really pumped up as things get started. Do you think that LeBron's going to have an Ultimate Warrior T-shirt on today?
I don't know. I mean, the other night he had the, Run with the Winners or Roll with the Winners T-shirt when he walked into that arena for Game 7. I had a good feeling once Brian Crane, our producer, deciphered that for me and translated what that meant. Yes. It's always, you're right, there's always a message.
Fashion component, right? We got to red carpet this a little bit. What is everybody going to be wearing?
Is JR going to have a shirt on? That's the other thing, too.
That's one of the most popular signs I've seen today, guys. people have made the sign in the shirt and says, "Found JR's shirt," and held that up, as he came off the plane.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, he's like that at practice all the time. I mean, hey, that's JR. What a great moment. And you speak of emotion. How about the emotion of J.R. Smith on Father's Day, which was the day the Cavaliers won the title, as he broke down emotionally because he was considered such a bad seed that so many NBA teams just got rid of him. He went over to China to continue his basketball career. And when the Cavaliers came to LeBron James a year ago and said, hey, we have the opportunity to make this trade. We're going to get Iman Shumpert. We're going to get Mozgov. And they're going to throw in J.R. Smith. That intellect of LeBron, he said, throw in J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith can shoot it. He can play. Right. And it's been a perfect fit here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a little, some technical fouls and things like that. But J.R. Smith has found a home. It's an odd collection. Teams are an odd collection. There are 15 different personalities with any team. And championship teams, it's a really funny combination. But this worked, but it really didn't all come together until the playoffs, when they would have these team meetings and go out to town hall and watch other playoff games, karaoke parties. Right. That's when it all started to come together. He would force them to watch. I'm surprised they didn't call you, Russ, to watch The Godfather.
I can't believe they didn't.
Yeah, I mean,
but you're so right about
it. You could recite it.
I could recite it. I mean, you're so right, though, about it being a team effort. You look at great teams in the past, the Chicago Bulls, Dennis Rodman fitting in with that group of folks.
Absolutely.
But it worked for them. J.R. Smith made it work here.
I mean, you take a look at the Lakers championship teams. That was an odd mix. There was Shaq and there was Kobe. And there were the people that were with Shaq and there were the people with Kobe. There were factions, but somehow they would come together. This really came together, but I think it took a while, Sarah and Russ, for it to come together. I mean, it took a coaching change, and then, there were bumps in the road where we would say, what the heck's wrong with them? Right. And then by the playoffs, they hit the button, and it really worked.
It all came together at the right time, and how lucky for Cavalier fans to get a little window into what was going on. Richard Jefferson's Snapchat account has been one of the most popular things. He was actually sending out some snaps last night. They were over at Deli's apartment playing beer pong. So hopefully nobody's they've had a little aspirin this morning, a little bit of water.
Hopefully they're feeling good.
They've got the hangover cures going, because we really have gotten to see the team come together, and they've given us that snap into
a little snapshot.
A little snapshot.
Exactly. What are we going to do without Richard Jefferson? Because I think he's really sticking to that he's going to retire.
Last night they were over at the Barley House. They had a little after party there as well. And he said the crowd at Barley House last night started chanting 4 more years for Richard Jefferson. He said, how about 2 more years?
Oh.
So, maybe we'll see. We'll see. He was sharing that last night.
One never knows. It is now 11:05. You see on our little ticker right there. If you're just joining Channel 3 right now to watch the Victory Parade today, you're at the right place. The parade getting underway at any moment now. You're seeing a shot now of Mall B in downtown Cleveland. We're after the parade, about 1:30, and this is a very fluid situation. About 1:30, there'll be a presentation, big stage set up. The players will come up, the mayor will make a proclamation, and this crowd will go crazy, as they have been doing for the past, hour or so, as they have been looping the end of the game on the big screens here.
Boy, Russ, that was a great moment, wasn't it, on Sunday night as we pull back. That's obviously our view from the Goodyear blimp. The great LeBron sign, which all of a sudden, at the moment the Cavaliers won that championship on Sunday night, then up on the top of it, the border said champions. I mean, that was a great moment.
That was amazing. Yeah. Talk about emotion. It's interesting, and you guys have probably felt this as well as you've gone around town. I've talked to people, grown men, big, burly guys who say on Sunday night they cried.
Oh, yeah.
They hugged their spouses, their significant others, their kids, and they cried after the Cavaliers won this championship.
Oh, I think we're at your vantage point when the two of you were up on top of the casino parking garage looking down at the plaza and then down, that bird's eye view of down East 4th Street. And when we zoomed in on people, there were a lot of people with their face in their hands. When we went inside with our cameras to the watch party, inside the queue, and they started playing the We Are the Champions sign, there were people that couldn't get through it.
Yeah.
It was really amazing. So it hits everybody in a different way.
You try to describe to people who do not live in Cleveland what the feeling is like in town today, and they understand it. They get it. This is a town that's been waiting for a championship for 52 years. And the fact that we got it means much more than just winning a championship. It means so much for this city.
The other thing is that I think we had outside the borders of Cleveland, I think we had a lot of other places rooting for us, once we got down there. I mean, Golden State had won it last year.
Sure.
They're a great team. But when it got to the 7th game, I think a lot of people nationally, internationally, because it's such a big thing, the NBA, it's a worldwide league, I think a lot of people were saying, you know what? It's time. They deserve to win it. I mean, let them win it. I mean, come on, don't let them win it, and nobody did. But I mean, I think a lot of people were in Cleveland's corner.
I told Sarah this. I was flying back from New York on Sunday, and the TSA guy, a couple TSA guys had Cleveland Cavaliers jersey on. That was probably against regulations, I'm guessing, at some point. But that goes to what you're saying, just how much the country was.
I've seen some really great tweets where people have said, for all of those times where I walked through the airport in a Cleveland T-shirt, Cleveland Cavalier, Cleveland Brown, or whatever it is, or all those times I've been traveling myself and representing and rooting for Cleveland, and people have said, oh, I'm sorry. They said, now I feel validated. I feel validated for that fandom I've had for Cleveland, because this championship is really what we have all been waiting for. It's 11:08 now, and we are getting ready for this parade to start, really standing by for the moment when it will begin.
Now, that is the typical crowd that is day-to-day around the free stamp, isn't it?
Something like that. It's Walnut Wednesdays. Just on Walnut Wednesdays.
Well, it is a Walnut Wednesday. They've got the trucks over there if you're hungry.
Here's the thing. Everyone's been talking about this as such a walk-up dress rehearsal for what's coming here in the middle of July, the convention. This is going to be, I know it's going to be big, right? But not this big. I mean, this is going to be unbelievable. The parade is underway.
It is underway. You're looking at the start right now, right outside the queue. It looks like everything is getting in place right now. Everybody is going to come together. As we said, the parade will leave there, go down Ontario, go up Carnegie, then head down 9th Street, and then eventually wind up here at Mall B. And you're looking at these pictures courtesy of the Goodyear blimp, which Sarah is from
Akron,
Ohio.
Akron born.
Have you ever been up in the blimp, Sarah?
I have not.
Sounds like a good Sarah's Circle.
I think that's a great idea. We'll have to work on
be
that.
in Sarah's Circle.
Yeah, really?
Yes.
Yes, we could introduce the blimp. Why not? Goodyear has been a great partner in all of this, and they are very excited for the win as well. Their Akron-born campaign had a lot to do with LeBron James, and Steph Curry, also Akron-born. He's not being celebrated today.
That's right. You think about it. You always know you're in a big game or in a big event if the Goodyear blimp is flying overhead.
That is true.
How do you know you're in a big game? Well, the blimp's here.
It doesn't show up for many Little League games. You don't see that very often.
Only in Williamsport.
That is true.
Right, yeah.
Looking again at Mall B right now. Sarah, I had a question for you. I've never asked you this. Were you born in the same hospital as LeBron and Steph Curry?
I was not. They were born at Akron City Hospital, which is a part of the SUMA system. I was born at St. Thomas Hospital, another part of the SUMA system, probably about 2 miles away, but no, technically not.
They've been regretting that ever since.
That's right.
I'm sure.
And in case you're wondering, I was born in Bethlehem, Russ.
You were?
That's how old I am, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. There were 3 kings that were walking over by. They walked past where I was, and they went to another birth.
We were saying LeBron's got to have some friends upstairs, because this is a beautiful, beautiful day in Cleveland, Ohio. Our view is so clear here on the Hilton Cleveland downtown. We can see the edges of Lake Erie. I think Canada is tuning in for this parade as well, perhaps, Just gorgeous weather downtown. And as we checked in with Holly earlier this morning, it looks like it's going to continue that way until later this evening, hopefully after all the festivities have ended.
Are you looking across the Lake Erie right now? I see a guy holding a Labatt's. So yes, I believe that we are looking at Canada right now. 11:11. You are continuing to look at shots from the Goodyear blimp of downtown Cleveland on this incredible day. So stay with us. Our coverage will continue right after a break. Sorry, I didn't know. I thought we were.
They were trying to break the same time as Fox Sports Ohio.
Jimmy said it earlier, so we're good. We're good. Yeah.
Yeah, he mentioned it.
I thought we threw them a nice plug.
That was nice. The Goodyear blimp of downtown Cleveland as we anxiously await the start of the Cavaliers victory parade. It is now 11:13. It was scheduled to start at 11 o'clock. The Cavs only arrived at the queue a little before 11, so things are delayed just a bit. We knew this would be a fluid situation. And once again, here's the timeline. Once this parade starts, it will wind its way down Ontario, down Carnegie, East 9th, and then eventually wind up here at Mall B, and there'll be a big presentation. The team will be here, the mayor will be here, all sorts of folks. Surprises as well. We hear Bernie Kosar maybe in the parade, perhaps Jim Brown. You say you saw Jim Brown downstairs.
He was just interviewed a few moments ago on one of the video boards here. Yeah, Jim Brown wouldn't miss this at all. I mean, he's kind of handing the torch over.
Yeah.
He's held it for a long, long time, since 1964, and he thought he was probably going to hand it to some other people, but he'll gladly hand it over. The mantle now rests in the hands of LeBron James and the Cavaliers, a guy that probably should get a real congratulations. And what a job Ty Lue did.
Oh, my goodness.
As the head coach. I mean, he took over under extraordinarily difficult circumstances from a friend, David Blatt. He was his assistant from Missouri.
Mexico, Missouri.
Right. His mom is a minister. And Ty Lue said the other night, he said it to our Dave Chudowski, he said, "Are you going to celebrate with champagne?" He goes, "Well, I don't drink, but I will celebrate." But what a great job he did. There's something about the natural connection that NBA players have when a coach, their head coach, was an NBA player. And take that a step further, was a championship NBA player. David Blatt wasn't. I mean, David Blatt was, Princeton educated and learned at the right hand of Petey Carell and some other great coaches around the world. But Ty Lue played, on championship teams and had a great connection with this team. The words are a little bit more believable when you're hearing them from a guy that played and won.
Sure.
Tasted it.
He won his championship with the Lakers? Is
That's
that right?
Yeah. And he was look at Ty Lue. I mean, look at how he had to fight to get into the league. Right. I mean, Ty Lue and I, about the same height, right? He's a little quicker, but he did a great job.
And Jimmy, you said he really changed the way the Cavaliers played when he took over as head coach.
Yeah, the next day, Sarah, I mean, his first game, they lost. And everyone's going, uh-oh. Wow. They lost to the Chicago Bulls, and they did not play well. And he went in and said to them, "Hey, listen, you got to get in physical shape." They started running. Okay, he wanted them to be faster. You have to realize everything all season long was done pointed towards the Golden State Warriors. They realized they were going to win the Eastern Conference, the Cavs, and they figured Golden State, at 73 wins, they're going to win the West. I know it was difficult, so we got to beat them. But to beat them, we have to match them in speed and kind of beat them at their own game. And when the series did turn, that's exactly what they did. They beat them at their own game.
Ty Lue, only 39 years old as well. Amazing future ahead for him. We're continuing to look at these shots from the Goodyear blimp. We're waiting for the start of the parade. You're looking at the Quicken Loans Arena right now. Is behind me. You hear folks applauding on Mall B as they're showing yet another tribute video to the Cleveland Cavaliers on the big screens. And we were, again, trying to figure out how many people were here. We just kind of gave up. We're waiting for the city to give us an official number. RTA earlier today was having a lot of problems. The demand was much higher than a lot of people expected. Some people upset. RTA did a wonderful job keeping people informed about what's happening. We'll get an update later on how they did in terms of getting people down here throughout the day, but you got to give them a thumbs up for at least being honest on Twitter and on social media, saying, look, we're having problems today. We've had a lot more people than we expected. We're getting extra buses. We're trying to work it out, but I'm sure that's going to be a discussion that will have legs, as they say.
Absolutely. And it seems like the driving situation, people certainly ran into traffic as expected. Parking downtown, $50 or so. Jim Donovan ran into a little bit of traffic
50?
himself.
How much did you pay?
50. That was I didn't pay that much. I actually got 20. I think I paid 25.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
We also saw a lot of people walking up to downtown from places as far away as Steelyard Commons.
That's right.
We had people walking up through Tremont to join folks downtown here. There were some great shots on Twitter this afternoon or this morning as people were walking over the Detroit Superior Bridge and underneath the Guardians of Transportation, that sea of wine and gold coming this direction, all to congregate here near the malls in downtown Cleveland, where we're going to be celebrating for hours to come.
We both saw that tweet about someone walking from Steelyard. We said, that's hardcore. That's a real fan if you're going to walk that far.
Wow. That's
need
amazing.
to get a bike.
Yeah. You take a look at this now, and as we celebrate here, imagine in the offices of every other NBA team, they begin to plot right now, leading up to the draft tomorrow night, how do you beat Cleveland? You know, and it's a nice position to be in. Everybody's coming at you. Can Cleveland defend the title? Can they go back-to-back? Are they at the start of a run of championships here? I don't want to get out over my skis, but I mean, you know, you have LeBron James. Remember, Kyrie Irving is only 24 years old and blossoming now into perhaps the greatest point guard in the game right now.
We've got the targets on our back. As
yes, I mean.
And it's funny, you were talking about this last night, the draft tomorrow night. That's usually a night that we have waited for with bated breath.
Yeah, that was our NBA Finals. I mean, remember the years of, they got the first pick with LeBron, Andrew Wiggins, and Kyrie Irving. You know, Kyrie Irving actually directly because LeBron had left and they sunk so far down. I mean, they didn't even win close. They were in the teens that year with wins, won the lottery, and ended up with Kyrie Irving. So.
Talked about a little bit of the atmosphere down here. We mentioned the Goodyear blimp, as you're seeing right here. You're seeing all sorts of things here. Again, you get this many people together, it becomes kind of a circus atmosphere. It's a chance for people to advertise. We've seen the Goodyear blimp, but once again, we saw Mally's chocolate up in the air with a banner.
Behind a plane.
Kids, cover your ears. We saw ads for the Hustler Club, as well. Everything
for everybody.
People are advertising here because it's so many people, and it's interesting.
I think that one was actually just encouraging people to play hard.
I think you're right.
Yeah, hustle.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
It's a different hustle club.
I think you're right. There was a shot of the free stamp there. Michael Mara earlier today was giving us a glimpse of this, and it was wondering if at some point police were going to take folks off of that because that's not meant to be, sat on. And obviously they haven't done that as of yet. But
we have been
really
checking in with the city of Cleveland just to see how things are going, Cleveland police, and they do say one of the biggest issues they've been having this morning is people climbing up on structures they shouldn't be on. We heard an announcement earlier. Someone was up on the generator. They needed them to get off so the show could begin. So that's been one of the biggest issues they've had. Also some unsafe crossing the street. We got to go back to kindergarten here a little bit today because of obviously a lot of car traffic trying to move around slowly through downtown, and also a lot of streets closed, a lot of people on foot, of course. But other than that, the city is glad to report not a lot of issues right now. People have been very well behaved this morning. No serious issues to report other than those two things. And there is quite a police presence out here to keep things safe.
And you take that a little bit further and you go back to Sunday night. And the minimal amount of rowdiness,
right? 5 arrests,
almost really not even worth mentioning. But I mean, that was a big crowd down there that had been down there most of the afternoon, through the night, into the morning hours, and really behaved joyously. Yeah. But the conduct was good.
We've seen other cities react not so peacefully.
Absolutely,
certainly. And also, the porta potties are on. Yesterday, we had a report that the city had forgotten about that little factor there. However, that they figured it out, and there are porta potties here, and everybody's happy about that. We are very sure. We are here on our perch at the Cleveland Hilton downtown, watching Mall B as we await the start of the Cleveland Cavaliers victory parade. Once again, it was supposed to start at 11 o'clock today. Now, what time is it?
21 minutes past. And we're getting ready to get started over there. We know the Cavaliers themselves, even with their escorts, had a little trouble making their way into downtown this morning. Need a little time to get set up and get on their convertibles. Jim Donovan tells us they're going to be riding in through the parade. 60-some vehicles, floats, a part of this parade that's going to kick off at the Q and head our direction here on Mall B. And we know the Ohio State Marching Band, the best damn band in the land, is a big part of that.
Boy, they are always. I mean, they're worth coming down and watching no matter what. If you finished in last place, I mean, they're worth watching perform. I mean, when they come and play at a Browns game, it's the only time that nobody leaves their seats at halftime. I mean, typically people are out of there, be it because of the score or because they want to get inside and get a refreshment. But if the Buckeyes, if the Ohio State band, the best damn band in the land, is going to do Script Ohio at halftime, you stay in your seat because that is just the way it goes. That's terrific. That was interesting, Sarah, that you pointed out about the Cavaliers still getting together at night to have kind of a get-together. I mean, they've been with each other so much you'd think maybe, and realizing that they have the parade today, that they might just say, listen, I'll see you I'll see you on Wednesday morning. Okay, I'm good right now. But they're obviously still very connected right now.
There's a camaraderie amongst them that I think you can't fake, and that's what we've all gotten to enjoy as we see these little snapshots they've been sharing on social media. Little Kev, by the way, that's become a phenomenon on social media. The picture that Richard Jefferson found of a male model sort of looks like Kevin Love, not Kevin Love, who is also a male model these days for Banana Republic, but there is a picture of Lil Kev full page in today's Cleveland Plain Dealer.
Wow.
So that tells you a little bit of something about the way that the community has really embraced the social media presence that the Cavaliers have put out there. They've enjoyed following them on Snapchat. They've enjoyed seeing that they're celebrating as we all are.
I was happy for Kevin Love because he is under a huge microscope, all season long.
Right.
Whether if he has a great game, he's under a microscope for that. If he has a mediocre game, he's really under a lot of criticism for that. And if he has a bad game, he's broiled, okay? So he had a tough situation through the playoffs, and he had that concussion. But I'll tell you what, Game 7, you can make a career in a Game 7 if you play well, okay? And I thought, though not a lot of points Sunday night, there was a role that needed to be played, and that was rebounding. Defense, rebounding, though, and he did that. So I'm glad he wins a championship. That's why he came here. That's why he wanted to come here and pushed Minnesota to make the deal. But I'm also glad that he was a contributor in the 7th game. So whatever happens, and Jason Lloyd was with us earlier, and he feels there's a possibility Kevin could be dealt away in the offseason. But whatever happens, I thought he can say, listen, in Game 7, I helped them win the championship.
The phrase I believe you used yesterday is it becomes the elephant in the room after all these celebrations.
Yeah, it really, and I think around the NBA, a lot of people say it's a funny fit, Kevin Love with Irving and LeBron James. A lot of people then take another step and say a better fit might have been if they had held on to Andrew Wiggins. But at the time they made the move, remember, Andrew Wiggins hadn't played an NBA game. He was, he was just coming out of college. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and Kevin Love certainly, he went through the concussion, as we remember. He was in the protocol for part of this final series. So it seems.
And he had that horrible injury in the playoffs last year.
Right.
Exactly. Hey, look at that. Looks like they're lining up for the parade right now, and they're in their convertibles, looking awful spiffy out there. This is right outside the queue. What do you see there?
Isn't that rocket car?
It is the rocket car from Euclid Beach.
Yeah.
Wow,
the famous custard.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. But it looks like
well, again, like the blimp. If the Euclid rocket car is in something, you know you got a big event.
The Euclid Beach Boys are with you. Now, Cleveland is celebrating.
Now, I have seen that at Little League games, but just saying. But it looks like things are about to get underway, at least very shortly. 11:26 right now. We're about 26 minutes late, but no big deal.
Folks are lining up there. One thing we've been able to notice from our perch up here, the parade route starts at the Q, as we mentioned, goes down Ontario, Carnegie, East 9th Street, 9th and Lakeside. They're supposed to be making a turn there to come by City Hall and then finish up on East 6th Street. As of now, what we can see, it is completely full of people.
Yeah.
Lakeside Avenue is full of spectators right now. So at least at this point, it would be very difficult to make that turn onto Lakeside. And in fact, the parade route at this point seems like it might get stuck. We've got some time until they get all the way over here at East 9th and Lakeside. But from what we can see, people have filled up the street all the way across there. And of course, the mall where we're standing, where these rally areas have been set aside, marked off, are completely full. And they've got the big screens going so that folks are going to be able to watch the parade on Fox Sports Ohio, like you're watching it there at home.
Right here. And as we were walking over here today, Sarah and I walked over here from our studios at 13th and Lakeside. Police were trying to get people out of the street at that point. Again, this would have been a couple of hours ago, and my guess is they're going to do the same very shortly.
They're showing Mall B here.
Everybody likes to be on TV.
Yeah, everybody likes to. Look, there I am.
There I am on TV.
So they're showing the crowd here.
What a beautiful hotel this is. We're in the Cleveland.
Brand new, right? It's brand new, and we want to thank them for having us. What a sightline we have as we peer up over this crowd that is just amazing here today. Crowd is being very patient, too.
Right.
They really are.
Well, they know you're buying room service for all of them. So that's everybody's being so
the other thing, that crowd out at the airport the other day was very, very patient, too, because remember that arrival time after a little junket in Vegas, from Oakland, I guess an unscheduled stop that became a scheduled stop in Vegas to party there, and then finally
had Charles Oakley there as well. So AC, there was a lot of talk down there.
Yeah, a lot of talk, and what you were talking about, Jeff, is what I thought made our team as good as it was, and this team also. You have a lot of good basketball minds around, but at the same time, you can all agree on one point. And that, to me, you get to a point where everybody's on the same page. That is what brings winners together, and that's what brought this team together. Yep. That's what brought us together, and it did the same thing with Mark Price's team.
Guys, I thought it was interesting when, in camp, you mentioned Charles joined us, Charles Oakley. Yep. I thought it was really interesting because Charles was drafted by the Cavaliers, immediately traded to Chicago.
Yes.
He played for the New York Knicks. He was not a Cavalier. Brad never played for the Cavaliers. Yep. But we're sitting there watching the games together, and Charles is screaming at the television and saying, we need to do this, and this is good for us. Yes. And Brad is saying we and us. They were Cavaliers. They were nothing but Cleveland guys watching the NBA Finals. They weren't former Chicago Bulls. They weren't the guy who threw the pass to Michael Jordan, for heaven's sakes. Brad, I'm still not forgiving you for that. You weren't Charles Oakley, who was a New York Knick forever. They were Cleveland guys pulling for their team.
And Jeff, to me, that's the beauty of being a part of Cleveland. I'm from Michigan, but yes, I have been received very well about this from Cleveland area. So to me, it speaks volumes because we all understand that it is about Cleveland, and Cleveland is a great city to live in as well.
Can't I tell you, to me, this is why I've raised my family. This is what I love the people here, and they reciprocate back to me. And that, to me, is what, my kids love it here. And to win this championship for the city, I mean, in the state, it's just unbelievable. It's a great time in Cleveland, Ohio.
The parade heading north on East 9th Street. Let's pause now for 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves.
Look at that crowd.
East 6th Street absolutely packed. I give all the folks here in attendance credit for clearing the streets enough, Campy, so that you can actually get the parade through. This is nuts. I love it.
Well, Jeff, again, you look at the city of Cleveland. Oh, man.
Hey,
now, there it is right there. The World Championship Trophy.
The trophy
is in the house.
The trophy deserves its own vehicle, does it not?
That's right.
And the trophy has its own vehicle.
It's a little bit surreal that this is in our town. You always watch it so many years, watching other cities celebrate, but this is right here in downtown Cleveland.
An amazing, amazing sight here in downtown Cleveland, one that Dan Gilbert dreamed of when he purchased the Cavaliers from Gordon Gund. Dan had that clock running in his office, guys, and I love the fact that he's wearing the game jersey from Game 5 and Game 7, the new favorite jersey in the history of sports, by the way. Those black jerseys with the sleeves, they're now legends in Northeast Ohio, and Dan wearing his version of that. Dan had that clock running in his office, Campy, from the time Cleveland last won a championship, and it was a continuous clock. I'd love to know the numbers that it stopped on right now, because you can be sure Dan stopped that thing the minute that buzzer went off at Oracle Arena.
Jeff, it doesn't matter. You look at Dan Gilbert. He is the guy that came to Cleveland and said, I'm going to bring a championship to Cleveland. And now the championship is here. We just saw the trophy go down the street, and that is why we're all here this afternoon. It's because of that trophy and Dan Gilbert.
AC, think about those words. We all just saw the trophy go down the street. That's great.
That's right, down the street.
Yeah, down the street.
Dan Gilbert leading the ownership group. Nate Forbes, the Cavaliers vice chairman and minority owner, right behind Dan in the parade route. These guys, you see them sitting courtside right by the Cavaliers bench almost every game, AC. And the passion that Nate and Jeff Cohen, who's coming up, and Dan Gilbert, of course, have brought to this franchise. I mean, they're a passionate ownership group.
Right, and that to me is what I really was impressed with, was how passionate they are about reaching their goal. And they didn't let anything deter them from reaching the goal. They got what they needed. They got the players they needed to make it work.
Well, and it's all about the players, AC. You know, you look back at Griff in terms of what he did this year in terms of bringing in Richard Jefferson. He brought in Mo Williams. You know, they went out and got Moskoff last year. Last year they went out and got J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert. And now you look at this basketball team, it has been developed into a championship team.
There's Jeff Cohen with the hat on backwards, wearing the shades. Jeff told me when he was young, he was known as Conan the Barbarian. We know Jeff. That's not a surprise, huh? Jeff is a big, strong guy. And the thing about what the ownership group has done, guys, when LeBron came back, well, outstanding. But then they had to start writing very big checks, AC. And they never balked, ever.
Well, the one thing, again, I like their philosophy. Their philosophy to me is developing the product first, and then the rest comes later. And that's a little bit different than most owners think in this league. I mean, and they gave the team, they gave management everything they needed, and management delivered. That is a great equation. That is something that this league does not really function that way. They function their own way, and they did it in the way that made it successful for them.
Allie Clifton is out on the parade route. Last time we checked in with Allie, she said, "I'm somewhere safe." I'm guessing, Allie, you're still somewhere safe, but where are you now?
Well, fellas, as the floats continue to make their way down here, all the fans patiently waiting, and I'm catching up with a couple big Cavalier fans, Catherine and Katia from Strongsville in Cleveland, and everyone else, of course, behind them, of course.
Go Cavs, all in!
We have a couple special moments, though, fellas, from this series. Catherine, what was yours?
My favorite moment was when Curry went in to go do a dunk off the clock, and LeBron knocked it out and blocked it and said, "Not in my house."
Oh, AC, did you hear that? That was a freak of a nature play, as we know. How about for you? What was your favorite moment?
Just the three-point that Kyrie made. That was awesome. That made us be the championship 2016.
Woo! And guys, that was the third three from that position Kyrie has hit. If you remember, San Antonio, 57 points. Portland, 55. Then, of course, Game 7 of the NBA Finals. We're waiting for the floats. We'll be here all day, fellas.
We had folks walking past us up here at our perch here at Wall B and said, we have our own version of the shot now, Campy. And the thing about Kyrie's shot, Michael's shot was great. It's been immortalized. We all know that. That was early in the playoffs. Kyrie's was for an NBA championship.
And again, Jeff, when you look at Kyrie Irving, to me, I thought that he was one of the difference in this basketball, in this whole series. And the reason why I say that is because he became more and more comfortable as the series went on. And he became more and more aggressive out there. And he got to the point that he felt like Curry or nobody on that Warriors team could handle him. And he was playing just that way, AC.
You're right. He really stepped up big. I mean, when you watch how he started the season to how he ended the season,
yes.
I mean, it was really unbelievable. And to have the guts to go out and the nerve to take that shot at the time he did, and he took it with no hesitation, no reservations. It was just great to see a development of Kyrie from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. That shot, it was unbelievable. He is truly now ready to roll.
The streets of Cleveland absolutely packed with enthusiasm today as we celebrate the Cleveland Cavaliers Championship Parade and Rally. More parade, the players coming up next.
The Cleveland Cavaliers have just completed the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history and are now the
starting out on a blimp shot.
I don't know how you did it. You were able to.
20 back. 15, 10, 9. I don't know what we're doing. Are they coming out to you guys? Barely. There's a 2-minute break here. Out now. 15.
Wow. 4. The Goodyear blimp and a shot of downtown Cleveland as you watch the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers Victory Parade. I believe that's 9th Avenue right there. Is that correct, Sarah and Jimmy? You think?
I think you're right. Yeah. I think they're on 9th Avenue.
Wow.
Boy, we have got, talk about the riches, just keep getting riches in Cleveland. We have very, very comforting news that has come out from about 30 minutes ago. LeBron James has confirmed through USA Today and Cleveland.com that he, and there he is coming back to the Cavaliers. There is no question about him or no worries about him opting out and perhaps trying to go somewhere else. There have been a lot of national sources and pundits saying that maybe he wants to form another super team and make it 3 different teams that he's gone on and won championships with. He is staying in Cleveland. He wants to come back and defend the championship next year with the Cavaliers. Now, some other news, he was also asked, are you going to go to Rio for the Olympic Games and play for Team USA? And his quote was, I don't think so. But he hasn't actually made the final decision yet. So at this point in time, with an I don't think so, Sarah is the only person from Akron going to Rio right now, Russ. That's breaking news.
Wow, that is
all right.
fantastic.
That's up to the minute.
Breaking.
Yeah.
That is fantastic news.
That other news is, I mean, that's great, and we think you're going to do a great job.
Thank you. But yes,
but that other
know.
news is really good
King
because
James is here.
That was bubbling a little bit right after what was going on. That maybe he wants to form another super team. Now there are only 2 other players in NBA history that have gone to 3 different teams and won championships. Robert Horry is one, and John Sally is the other one. Now LeBron James is in a different kind of category than those guys. Those guys were pieces to a team.
Right.
LeBron James is a team. Okay, so
sure.
But that's great news.
You're right.
He's going to come back and defend the title here next year.
That is excellent news.
I would throw another parade just on
just
that.
for that.
Just for that right there.
That rumor had gotten so far down the line. There were actually bubbles of what teams he would go to, the Lakers, etc. So the Bucks I heard as well.
Yeah, or
so
maybe back to
Miami.
Would he want to hook up with Dwayne Wade again?
Sure.
But he's going to stay here.
And we know he's here today with his family. We just saw those beautiful shots of his wife, Savannah, and their 3 children, all in the convertible today. And it is a beautiful day for this parade.
Fantastic day. Let's go back to Fox Sports Ohio as they continue our coverage. We will see you very soon.
LeBron's back, I'm staying.
Right.
He signed up.
He
wanted to be here and can't be. That's a huge thing that I think sometimes gets kind of forgotten during the building of this franchise the way it stands right now.
And Jeff, you're absolutely right. And I think the reason why Kyrie re-signed is that he believed in the ownership. He believed what Dan Gilbert was saying when he said that he is willing to do whatever is necessary to build a world championship team and to bring a championship team to the city of Cleveland. So this year is all the evidence anybody can need to let them know that there is a championship in the city of Cleveland. And there is JR without his shirt.
Without his shirt. He left it in Golden State.
Is he going to have to wear a jersey next year, or is this his new trademark, AC? I think it's his new trademark. And guys,
amazing.
Let's all be honest. Can everybody here, all 800,000 people, if you had an upper body like JR's, you wouldn't wear a shirt either.
As we get an amen from the women then back up.
Absolutely. The coaching staff looking at JR with puzzling looks on their face, as they often did during the season, thinking, JR, what's going on out there? He just jacked up another 3 from 30 feet and hit it, Campy.
Yeah, again, AC and Jeff, this is the beauty of this type of parade. Our team understands that they need to get next to these fans. So that's why JR is out there. That's why Kyrie Irving is out there engaging our fans.
You're right, Campy. They know how important the fans are. And word to them, their march to the championship. And even though Kyrie hit the shot, LeBron made the block. When we came out in that third quarter and JR hit them 3 jump shots, that changed the whole feeling of the game. You can see the Warriors start to drop their enthusiasm started to wane then.
Can I say a couple of things, AC, about a guy that you knew and loved? Red Auerbach, take that.
Yes.
Those are victory cigars, ladies and gentlemen. And one of the lasting memories, there were so many visuals from Game 7, guys, but one of the visuals that every Cavs fan will remember is the shot of Coach Lou on the bench, his head buried in a towel, and weeping, guys. He was overcome with emotion and joy. And I think, Campy, that says so many things about Coach Lou as a person.
Yep.
It shows so much about, and says so much about what these guys think about themselves, each other as a team, their love of each other, their love of this city and this fan base.
And Jeff, to me, that was the difference with this team as it started growing. They started growing together in love for each other and how they felt about each other. And to me, Jeff, when I look back at our team back in the day, that is what helped propel us, is the love that we have for each other. So as that love began to grow in this team, that is when this team really took off. Because as I talked about before, when they recognized that their walls their backs was through the wall, that is when they all came together, AC.
You're right, Campy. That was a galvanizing period when this team became the world champion team, because you have to do that. We did that. I mean, when you get to the point where, when you know what your teammate's going to do, it's hard to beat a team like that, because that team is operating on another level, and the Cavaliers operated on that level from Game 3 all the way through.
And I'm sorry, Campy. Somehow Fred is going to make his way through the crowd with the players to end up here. He'll be emceeing the big rally here at Mall B. But right now he's out on the parade route. Fred?
All right. We know about the curse, which has been reversed, as we heard from LeBron James earlier. But some fans have no idea what a 52-year drought is. I'm talking about Aiden from Parma. Little Aiden wearing a LeBron James jersey. He was born on New Year's Eve. Mom Sierra's here. Now Aiden's going to say, what drought? All I know is championships, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right, obviously New Year's Eve is the greatest night of your life.
Yeah.
Where does Sunday night of a couple of days ago rank?
Number 2. Yeah.
Now, how crazy was it in your Parma neighborhood?
It was crazy. They did fireworks, and everybody was, I live in an apartment building, so everybody was screaming. You heard people jumping. Like, it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
So were you hugging like, see, Aiden with a steal. A turnover here on Fox Sports Ohio, but Aiden with those great, quick LeBron James hands, and I don't have the nerve to take it back. But were you guys like hugging strangers? Was this a crazy?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. High five, screaming. I lost my voice. Like, it was crazy. And then the next day we went to the IX Center, so I really didn't have a voice. So
wow,
it was nuts. Yes.
And now you're back here, so it's really a triple crown.
I'm back here. Yes. I have plenty of pictures, so I want to show him when he gets older, because he won't remember. But I have tons of pictures.
And you'll never ever forget the year the Cavs won the championship.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yes.
Thanks, Sierra.
Thank you.
And little Aiden. I had to steal it back, but I'll get called for probably a foul, guys.
Yeah, but Fred, we needed that back. Absolutely. Good call by you to get it back from Aiden. I enjoy watching the Cavalier girls dance, the Scream team, the coaching staff. Today, why not?
Aerial coverage today provided by Goodyear. Akron stands with Cleveland and all of Northeast Ohio in celebrating a long-awaited championship. Goodyear, Akron born.
And we are so grateful for these wonderful shots the Blimp is giving us today as we celebrate this Cavs victory parade.
A beautiful day here in downtown Cleveland, and some 800,000 strong have come out to celebrate the Cavaliers and their championship victory parade today. What a beautiful day, and a great sea of wine and gold right here on Mall B underneath us as we stand up high at the Hilton Cleveland downtown brand new hotel. And what a great vantage we have, guys.
It is. The parade making its way down 9th Avenue before it turns and makes its way here to Mall B, where we'll have a big celebration, a big party taking place probably in about another hour or so.
Hey, J.R. Smith.
Shirtless.
Shirtless and in his Cavs game shorts, isn't he? I mean, he looks like he's ready to go out and play.
Casual Wednesday.
Game 8 of the NBA.
Something like this. You said they hung out a bit last night, right? Did we hear that?
They did. There was a little bit of a party at Barley House, you know, good group of them getting together. And as we have said earlier today, it is so fun to see them celebrating just as much as we all are.
Sure. Maybe JR came directly to the parade from the Barley House.
Perhaps.
Not out of the wildest of your imagination, Russ.
Back to Fox Sports Ohio for their coverage. We'll see you very soon.
Absolutely crazy and doing everything he could to help his teammates.
Jeff, you're right. And to me, that is the essence of a teammate. You want your teammates to stay engaged into the game because that is what keeps you going. And if the coach happened to call you, AC, you normally are ready to go because you've been engaged into the game.
And that's what it's about, Campy. As a player, 1 through 12, you got to be focused on what the situation is because when you never know when your number's going to be called. And that's when you have to step up and get the job done.
Same thing with Sasha Cowan. Sasha, in his first year as a member of the Cavaliers, didn't see much playing time, guys. But obviously during practice, stepped up, Campy, and did what a guy who was signed to be at the end of the roster does. And that's helped make your teammates better during practice.
And Jeff, you're absolutely right because he did a great job of working every single practice. He worked very well against Tristan. He worked very well against Moskov. He helped those guys get better. So to me, again, Jeff, it's about teammates who are willing to put in the work every single day.
You're right, Campy. I mean, it's not about the starting 5 all the time. That really makes the team. It's from 6 back to 15. Because when you have all of those emotions and everybody together on the same page, it really makes you an unstoppable team.
It's great to see the St. Vincent St. Mary Marching Band able to make it up from Akron today. I talked to folks in Akron who said traffic on Interstate 77 was backed up all the way to Akron. All the way to Akron, backed up. So who would lead LeBron James in the parade? The St. Vincent St. Mary High School Marching Band. There's LeBron, the finals MVP, a guy who wanted to light it up like Vegas when he was an 18-year-old kid. Took 13 years for it to happen, but guys, he was unbelievable. Unbelievable in the finals, AC.
You're right, and he proved who the real MVP of this league is. And I was so happy that he stepped up the way he did, and he led this team in a lot of different ways. But he is truly a basketball wizard. And not only just a basketball, but he does a great job off the court as far as leadership is concerned, Gabriel.
And AC, to me, is about his leadership. LeBron James truly knows how to lead a team, how to motivate a team, how to keep a team together, how to really deal with each and every one of his teammates. And to me, that is the value of a LeBron James. And not even to mention his statistics. I mean, his statistics were off the chart. Last game of the season, championship game, come up with a triple-double. That's just outstanding.
Well, you know, to me, I don't think it's ever been done before where one person leads the whole finals in that many categories.
Yes, it's never been done before. Never been done.
Never been done before.
Austin, you were the #1 pick overall in the NBA draft.
Right.
It was a different era, no social media, no anything like that. You know the pressures that come with that. You were drafted to be the savior of the Cavaliers organization.
Right.
LeBron was drafted to be the savior of the Cavaliers organization, and he grew up 25 miles down the road. That was an awful lot of pressure for an 18-year-old kid who probably didn't give it any thought. I mean, there were 30 teams that could have ended up with him, and then 13 in the lottery. He didn't give any thought, and all of a sudden, I'm leading the hometown team.
Right.
That's a big burden.
You know, it's a lot of pressure. But the one thing I've learned about LeBron over the years, he doesn't really look at pressure as pressure. It's just a challenge. And that changed his whole focus when he's able to do that. And by looking at it that way, he sort of guides his teammates in that direction. It's not pressure. All this is an opportunity for us to get something done.
And AC, you're absolutely right. When you are as talented as LeBron James, and you have a strong will and a strong mind and that talent, it really makes you unstoppable. And there's no question in my mind, LeBron James has been unstoppable throughout his 13-year career. And to me, I still think that LeBron James have a lot left in the tank to push this team to another level next season.
AC, you did some of LeBron's games when he was in high school, when he played in the state championships. I did some of his games when they were on pay-per-view when he was in high school. How have you seen him grow most in the 13 years since he was an 18-year-old rookie to now a 31-year-old NBA champion with the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Well, one thing, he understands what's going on around him a little bit more now. And he understood that he couldn't do it by himself.
Yes.
So he always was trying to incorporate teammates into whatever he was doing because he knew he couldn't do it by himself. And that, to me, is one thing that really, because he has a game that he probably could do it by himself, but he knows it's a five-man game and you got to have other four guys. He did a great job of leading and not getting too caught up in himself, but getting more caught up into the team concept of the game.
Well, AC, one of the things that we all know about LeBron James is never really been about him. It's been about winning. It's been about helping his teammates succeed out there on the court. And you look at this year, all the things he's done over his 13 years, it all came together in this series because truly, this is a team that was down 3-1. And the will of LeBron James, as well as Coach Lou and his game plan, helped put this team into a make this team into a championship team.
41-point games in the finals, a triple-double in Game 7, Austin. An unbelievable performance for a guy who is obviously driven. And LeBron has been there 6 years in a row, along with James Jones, 6 years in a row. Those two probably know more than anyone else, despite the fact that they've been there 6 years in a row. But boy, is it difficult to get there, and is it difficult to get back. And you knew he had to think, even down 3-1, who knows when this opportunity comes along again. We have to do something, and we have to do it in a big way. And he did, and they did.
Yes, he did. He mentioned that he went and changed his blueprint after game 2. And then all of a sudden he came back, and you could see a difference. He put himself in different positions, and that triple-double in that final game, that was off the chart.
Well, one of the areas that I thought LeBron James made a great adjustment at is being able to play in the post, being able to dominate the game in the post, being able to dominate the game rebounding, being able to dominate the game in all areas of play. And to me, these fans are getting a great look at LeBron James. So in some respect, even though it has slowed down out there, it's giving everybody an opportunity to take photos and to look at the king. There is King James at his best right now.
We could throw superlatives at LeBron forever, Austin, but the skills to make things happen on the floor, as Magic Johnson had, the athleticism of Dominique Wilkins, the desire to win of Michael Jordan. He's a very strange, unique combination of basketball skills that this league has never seen before.
Right. I mean, and that's what makes him so different from everybody else. He can do a little bit of everything, and he does it all well. And his size is just what really gets people, because at 6'8", doing what he does, it's off the chart. Look at those people.
Man.
Enjoy, Cleveland, enjoy.
But get out of the way so the parade can keep moving.
Man, that is just spectacular.
That's why things are moving a little slow, folks.
Look at that.
The streets of Cleveland, a sea of humanity. Oh, my goodness.
Literally.
And sea of humanity and a great hat.
Is that Kermit the Frog?
I don't know who it is, but I love it.
Oh, no, it's the octopus.
I love that. Jeff Phelps along with Campy Russell and Austin Carr. As much fun as it is, look at Sean. As much fun as it is to bring basketball to you. Guys, this is so much better. Amon Shumpert obviously joining the J.R. Smith No Shirt Club. Why not?
And he's there with Iman Jr.
The baby that he delivered.
Yes.
How about that for a season for Amon? A, we had a daughter. B, I delivered my daughter. C, we win the NBA championship.
That's a great year, isn't it?
Was it something Richard Jefferson said? Well, we loved hearing from him at the end of every postgame show when he sat down with Fred and just opened up about things. This guy, AC, showed that he had a lot more left in the tank than probably anybody in the NBA thought he did.
Well, as I was talking to him through the year, he told me, he has a little bit more left in the tank, but he never really let it go until he got to the playoffs. And that's just a veteran understanding his body and what he had to do, Campbell.
Well, to me, we talked about, was it something that he said? When you look at this series, to me, it was something that he did every single night, because he added something to this basketball team every single night. His athleticism, his ability to score the ball, his ability to guard multiple guys out on the floor. When you look at Richard Jefferson, he was a big part of this basketball team after 15 years in the league.
Kevin Love and the Cavaliers are on the road. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves. Good to see that Kevin Love has picked up yet another championship belt from just the one he had when he got off the airplane. You have to feel great for Kevin, guys. If there's one player who came under more scrutiny than anybody else on this team, guys, it might have been Kevin Love. And if you're a Cavaliers person, you scratched your head and you thought, why? Why is this guy getting scrutinized like he is? Because he signed up here not to be the man. He signed up here to be a part of a winning team, AC. Right. And that's what he did. He gave the team what was asked of him night in, night out. And in Kevin's case, that meant not being the man, as he was in Minnesota, and not putting the ball in the basket like he did in Minnesota.
And people have to understand, it's hard when you play 7 years like that, and you are the man, and then you come to a situation where you are not asked to be the man anymore. It's tough, Cappy, to make that adjustment. But I thought as the season went on, especially the playoffs, he did a great job of understanding his role with the team, because he became a role player. And in the last final game, he had one of the highest ratings on the floor that night.
Plus 19, the highest rating by 9 points over anybody else on the floor.
Right, exactly.
The Cleveland Cavaliers Championship Parade and Rally going strong. Parade now, rally coming up.